This is the first guitar, my first American guitar, that is, the first real decent guitar that I ever had, which I bought in 1960. It cost me £75, and I bought it from a sailor in Liverpool who advertised it in a local newspaper. Anyway, he brought it back from America, and I was looking to get a real nice guitar, and that's the one I bought at that time.
Well, what we know about the original guitar that ended up in George's hands is that, based off the serial number, it was born in 1957 at the Gretsch factory in Brooklyn, New York. That was on 60 Broadway. In fact, that 10-story building still stands today.
60 Broadway means down at number 1 Broadway, that was right down at the East River. So the boats that went back and forth to Liverpool went right up and down those rivers.
And that's where fate would have it that Ivan Hayward was a cook on a merchant ship that was based out of Liverpool.
In 1957, I was on the Scythia, and I saw this beautiful Grecian Manny's guitar shop. Just absolutely beautiful, black dual jet Gresh. So it was marked up for $310, and I went in and asked him how much it was, and it was he knocked $100 off.
The band that Ivan was playing with in Liverpool, his bandmate was friendly with Stuart Sutcliffe, who was the bass player at that time with the Silver Beatles.
And the next thing, you got a phone call from George Harrison. And then he came in, and so he said, how much do you want for it? And I said, £90. So he hummed and hard, and he said, well, I've only got £70. And he pulled out a scruffy load of banknotes, you know, £70.
They wrote an IOU for the remaining £20. It has George's signature on it. And it just so happens that that IOU, which Ivan still has, was written on the back side of the customs document when he brought the guitar over from Liverpool. Again, that's just fate, how the guitar changed hands and ended up in George Harrison's hands. That was used throughout the early Cavern Club days with the Beatles, and of course in Cloud 9 and through his solo career.
I'm shouting all about love. Well, they treated you like a dog, and you were the one who had made it so clear all those years ago.
It's the original guitar we had in our possession for 3 days, and we were very fortunate to have for that long. We were able to take detailed measurements and drawings of the bridge, the thumb wheels, the posts. The posts are unusual. They're not just threaded rod. They have an end that's radius so that that bar will rock back and forth. We had the strap buttons drawn up. I took detailed measurements of the inlay on the fingerboard, on the headstock. We were able to have the pickups measured. I took some clear plexiglass and was able to put it over the guitar to mark some of the dings and the locations of the strap knobs and the position of the control cavities. We got to X-ray the guitar to get the interior route, which is really important.
To determine what the chambering style was, you know, short of cutting the guitar in half, Mr. Stern made arrangements to take the guitar to a medical clinic in Corona, to where we were able to have a CAT scan performed on the guitar and from different angles to be able to tell the chambering style, which on this instrument was about 90% hollow. From the X-ray, we were able to recreate that pattern so that it's incorporated into the tribute model as well. So it's very lightweight, it's very vibrant, and it's just got a wonderful warm sound with the Dynasonic pickups that are just unmistakable voice that they create.
After examining the guitar, some of the modifications that became apparent was that the tailpiece wasn't original. When Ivan Hayward bought the guitar, it had the original stop tailpiece or non-Bigsby tailpiece. This is not the stock tailpiece. It had the, you know, just the stop, the bent. I'll show you. It had a tailpiece similar to this, and something like that. So he had replaced it with a Bigsby tailpiece and moved the strap knob to the side of the Bigsby, which is not normal. It usually goes through the hinge on the Bigsby. And he also replaced the bridge with a rocking bar bridge. The guitar originally came with the Melita style bridge, and he had it replaced with the rocking bar bridge because that type of bridge works better with the Bigsby.
There's nothing else I want that would set me free.
You know, every guitar that exists on the planet today, there's a story behind it. And the story with this Gretsch Black Duo Jet is just, it's incredible that George not only ended up being the second owner of the guitar, but he was also the fourth. And again, as the timeline of events that happened with the ownership of the guitar, originally by Ivan Hayward in 1957, he sold it in 1960 to George. And we do know sometime later he gave the guitar to Klaus Bormann.
Somewhere down the line I gave it to a friend of mine called Klaus Bormann, who was a bass player and is remembered also for designing the Beatles' Revolver album sleeve. Anyway, he had the guitar for a number of years, and then he moved back to Germany, and he'd left it in Los Angeles. And when I saw him recently, I'd asked him what happened to the guitar and whether I could have it back because of its nostalgic value. So he returned it to me. I had the guitar fixed back in its original form with the original pickup and switches that were being missing from it since he owned it.
The bridge pickup has braided wire, and the neck pickup has like a vinyl or rubber insulation. So we knew that that wasn't an original pickup. And when George loaned it to his friend Klaus Bormann, Klaus had replaced the pickup. So when George got the guitar back, he had it brought back to original specs and had the Dynasonic pickup replaced.
Another interesting fact about the original Duo Jet when we had brought it over from the Harrison estate in London was that the guitar was all black, top, back, and sides, which is not normal for a Gretsch Duo Jet model guitar. In fact, through the 50s and the early 60s, they were, you know, the top of the instrument was black and the back and the sides was a walnut stained color. And of course, the back of the body is made of mahogany. But again, George's guitar, when we brought it in, it was painted all completely black. And I might want to note too that it wasn't painted very well. And we thought, gee, that couldn't have come from the factory that way. Ivan Hayward had confirmed with us that when he sold the guitar to George, it was in the original state, of course, with the modified Bigsby that he had added and the bridge that was added. And that it, again, it had just only the black top with mahogany stained back of body and the back of the neck. The only person who could really tell us for sure why it ended up that way would have been George, of course.
Examining the logo on the headstock, it looks like they had put a piece of masking tape over the Gretsch logo, so when they sprayed the guitar black, it would not get onto the Gretsch logo. And they didn't mask each letter, they just put a piece of tape over the logo. And another tip-off that the guitar was painted was that the inside of the cavity, they painted over the original Gretsch logo. Here's the label right here. And the label's been painted over. The Gretsch label was painted over. The only way you can tell the serial number is that Gretsch would scratch the serial number on the control cover plate. So if that hadn't been on there, we would never know the serial number of the guitar. When I approach a project like this, I always have a notebook that I write a game plan of how I go about doing it, because it's quite easy to miss something. Things kept popping in my head. Oh, I got to get this. Oh, I got to get that.
The accuracy to detail that Stephen Stern has put into this guitar, it's just unbelievable. It's just mind-blowing.
The George Harrison tribute guitar is such a great project to work on, and I'm very fortunate to have a crew that has been together and I've been working with for 10 years, since the beginning of the Gretsch Custom Shop. They just do such a fabulous job. You're only as good as the people that you are surrounded by, and I'm fortunate to have a great crew. Danny came down to the shop today to sign off on prototype #1, and someone signing off on a guitar, he knows it so well, you're just like holding your breath. His first reaction was like, phew, we did it. We hit a home run.
Oh, the moment that the case was opened and he pulled it out and was in awe of how it looked and how it felt, and he sat down and he strummed on it, and it was a very powerful moment.
You could fool anyone with this. I mean, there's like copper oxide on the pickups. I mean, it's every scratch and every ding, and the serial numbers painted over with black on the inside, and the headstock's a little tiny bit cracked there, and you've got the couple tuning pegs that are slightly badly lined up like the old one, and the inlay. I mean, it's fantastic. I've never seen anything like it. You wouldn't know. I mean, you know, and it sounds killer because they've rebuilt the pickups to be the old ones. You have to ask Joe what those are. Sounds really nice.
It was a very powerful moment in that I know what the guitar meant to me as a musician guitar player who's been playing guitar all my life. To me, it's a musical instrument that someone in history that created some wonderful landmark music that just was reverberated around the world. But to Danny, that was his father's guitar.
And that's it. I was asked if I could take a guitar down for the photo session for the new album, and so I picked that one. The old black Gretsch.
I don't know how we'll ever top this one. This is a career high when it comes to artist guitars. There's no question about that.
From all my experiences of being in the guitar business over the last 37 years, this has certainly been one of the most amazing, mind-blowing highlights of my career.
The George Harrison tribute project is one of the highlights of my career, and it's very exciting to be a part of it.
Incredible. Nice one.